Hello and welcome to class. Today we are discussing themes, how to tell what a theme is, and what is a theme more specifically than just a topic, but what does the author have to say about something, and how do we pick those themes out from looking at individual elements in a text. So, with themes, the first thing we want to understand is that it's not just a subject or topic like ambition, but it's actually what the author has to say about that topic or subject. So, for example, in Macbeth by Shakespeare, we want to decide from the text what exactly Shakespeare is saying about the subject, ambition. And actually, throughout the play, we find out that Shakespeare is communicating that ambition is a bad thing, that like a cancer, it can eat you from the inside out and it can destroy your life. And that really is what a theme is when we are understanding what the author is commenting on when they approach a topic or subject, such as ambition, for example. Now, we can think of themes as being more of a macro level. This is macro level. So theme is going to be the big picture. In order to understand that macro level, big picture idea, we have to go in and take a look at each of the individual elements. Fiction is very different than nonfiction because these are things we have to infer, these ideas. So when we take a look at just one area like plot development, which are the events of the story, we're bringing in analysis. All analysis means is to look at one thing from many different angles. What does it mean to make that jump from analysis to critical analysis? We're able to take all of those little individual elements like plot development, conflict and resolution, setting, characterization, and connect them together, string them together in our mind to think of the big picture. And that's where we go from the individual to the bigger idea. So, plot development, this is very important, along with conflict and resolution, setting, and characterization, in understanding themes of fiction. Now, themes can be built in nonfiction as well. The best authors are able to do that. For example, Into the Wild is a great example of bringing in characterization, setting, conflict, resolution, plot development. All of those things that we would expect to find in fiction actually can be found in some of the best nonfiction, which is really exciting to sit down and understand what themes are in nonfiction. In fiction, it's really the mammoth of this idea of finding themes. When we sit down and read fiction literature, we do have to focus on what are the themes because they will be present in all of our novels and short stories, for example. Plot development, what happens in the story, setting, where the characters find themselves, characterization, any information that we can find out about a character. Conflict are going to be the problems that arise. For example, it can be a character versus a character or a character versus society, and there are seven of these. And then the resolution will be how are those problems resolved? How did the characters grow throughout the plot? And that really is how we come to understand what themes are when we have a great understanding or grasp of these individual elements. Now, we won't have time to take a look at our entire passage, but let's go ahead and just begin to take a look here. This is from a Charlotte Bronte novel, The Professor. Now, what's interesting about this is, and I'll go ahead and tell the theme. The theme is using these sort of natural conflicts and adversarial relationships throughout our lives to push us forward into a new and exciting future. And that's really what this person does. He really dislikes his job, and he through this adversarial relationship with his boss, ends up leaving and becomes a professor, gets married, and his entire life changes. And so that really is a big part of the novel. It may sound very negative with our diction or word choice. We can see a lot of negativity here with negative connotation, and that's because this person is suffering a job that they don't like through that, and also a conflict with their supervisor or their employer. So just take a look at a few words here, a few sentences. No man likes to acknowledge that he has made a mistake in the choice of his profession, and every man worthy of the name will row long against wind and tide before he allows himself to cry out, I am baffled, and submits to be floated passively back to land. From the first week of my residence in X, I felt my occupation irksome. The thing itself, the work of copying and translating business letters, was a dry and tedious task enough. But had that been all, I should long have borne with the nuisance. I am not of an impatient nature and influenced by the double desire of getting my living and justifying to myself and others the resolution I had taken to become a tradesman. I should have endured in silence the rust and cramp of my best faculties. I should not have whispered even inwardly that I longed for liberty. I should have pent in every sigh by which my heart might have ventured to intimate its distress under the closeness, smoke, monotony, and joyless tumult of Big Ben Close, and its panting desire for freer and fresher scenes. I should have set up the image of duty, the fetish of perseverance, in my small bedroom at Mrs. King's lodgings, and they too should have been my household gods from which my darling, my cherished in secret, imagination, the tender and the mighty, should never either by softness or strength have severed me. But this was not all. The antipathy which had sprung up between myself and my employer, striking deeper root and spreading denser shade daily, excluded me from every glimpse of the sunshine of life, and I began to feel like a plant growing in humid darkness out of the slimy walls of a well. Now, Charlotte Bronte is able to bring in all of the literary technique. We have a lot of negative diction, imagery, metaphor, really bringing the abstract ideas in with the concrete details. And all of that is room for analysis. But when we understand theme, we're bringing all of those together here. This is really focusing on characterization. We have a very good idea of the motivations and inner thoughts of this character, the person who is the employee in that conflict with their employer. And what we can understand is that when we know well how to look for the elements of literature and literary technique, which also includes punctuation, it can be many areas to analyze, learn how to string those together to see the bigger picture, then we're able to better understand theme. Thank you for your time today. Take care, and we'll see you next time.